Effective May 1st, 2025, Quebec's minimum wage will see an increase. The general minimum wage will rise to $16.10 per hour, up from the current rate of $15.75, marking a 2.22% rise of 35 cents per hour. This increase is designed to help workers cope with inflation and the increasing cost of living. The wage increase will impact all employees earning the minimum wage across the province. Additionally, tipped employees will see their hourly wage increase to $12.90, a slight but significant rise that will help them maintain a more sustainable income. Agricultural workers are also set to benefit, with strawberry pickers earning $1.28 per kilogram and raspberry pickers earning $4.78 per kilogram. The increase in the minimum wage is expected to positively affect approximately 217,400 workers, including 118,400 women, a significant portion of Quebec's workforce. For full-time workers, the raise in hourly wage could result in an additional $484 in disposable income annually. This is an important step in improving the economic well-being of the province's low-wage earners and addressing the increasing costs that many workers face, particularly in the aftermath of inflationary pressures. Since 2019, Quebec's minimum wage has risen substantially, from $12 per hour to $16.10 per hour, a total increase of 34.2%. This increase is significantly higher than the inflation rate of 25% over the same period. The province's efforts to increase the minimum wage align with broader social policies aimed at addressing economic inequality and enhancing the quality of life for lower-income workers. By raising the minimum wage at regular intervals, the Quebec government ensures that wages keep pace with living costs, providing more financial stability for workers. With this wage increase, Quebec will hold the third highest minimum wage in Canada, behind Nunavut and British Columbia. This is a notable achievement, positioning Quebec as a leader in wage fairness within the country. The increase is expected to stimulate local economies by boosting workers' purchasing power, which in turn supports businesses and helps stimulate growth. Higher wages contribute to higher consumer spending, which is beneficial to the broader economy, making this wage adjustment not just beneficial to workers, but to the economy at large. The wage increase is part of Quebec's ongoing commitment to reducing economic disparities and improving the overall standard of living for its residents. This increase in wages is expected to reduce poverty levels, improve financial security for low-income workers, and create a more equitable economic environment in Quebec. These wage adjustments aim to ensure that the workforce can sustain themselves and their families while navigating the challenges of modern economic pressures, such as rising living costs, inflation, and housing prices. Furthermore, this move is part of a broader suite of labor reforms in Quebec aimed at improving working conditions and ensuring better benefits for workers across the province. Alongside the minimum wage increase, the Quebec government has been focusing on issues such as better health benefits, fairer working conditions, and more support for workers in precarious or low-paying jobs. The goal is to create a more supportive, fair, and equitable labor market where all workers can thrive, regardless of their occupation or the industry they work in. These wage increases also address the need for a livable income in Quebec, where many workers face financial struggles despite holding full-time jobs. This is particularly true for workers in the service, retail, and agricultural sectors, who often experience the pressures of fluctuating income and job insecurity. With this increase, the government hopes to alleviate some of these challenges and ensure that workers receive a fair wage for their labor. The move is an essential part of Quebec's broader social policy, which seeks to address economic disparities and create a more inclusive and sustainable economy for all residents. In conclusion, Quebec's new minimum wage increase is a significant development that will have a positive impact on thousands of workers across the province. It is an important step towards economic fairness and social justice, offering workers a better standard of living and a more equitable share of the province's economic prosperity. Hashtag Quebec minimum wage, hashtag Quebec wages, hashtag wage increase, hashtag minimum wage, hashtag wage hike, hashtag Quebec news, hashtag tipped employees, hashtag agricultural workers, hashtag living wage, hashtag support workers, hashtag economic fairness, hashtag minimum wage raise, hashtag economic equality, hashtag higher wages, hashtag workers' rights, hashtag Quebec economy, hashtag Canada wages, hashtag. Strawberry pickers, hashtag raspberry pickers, hashtag wage justice, hashtag workers' rights, hashtag wage growth, hashtag Quebec workers, hashtag fair wages, hashtag cost of living, hashtag rising wages, hashtag Quebec updates, hashtag Quebec government, hashtag full-time workers, hashtag economic growth, hashtag income equality, hashtag 2025 wage increase, hashtag social justice.
Thanks for watching our video. Please hit the button and subscribe the channel.